The man who tolerates betrayal once is not a victim, but a volunteer in his own undoing. Betrayal is never a single act. It is a signal that loyalty has a price, and worse, that you were cheap enough to be sold. The one who betrays you may come back with apologies, promises, or tears, but understand this: they have already tasted the thrill of your downfall. They have seen how far they can go and survive it. If you permit them to return, you are granting them a license to finish what they started. The moment you excuse a betrayal, you invite it again, only this time it will arrive more cleverly disguised, more calculated, more complete. A ruler, or any man who seeks power, must see betrayal not as a mistake, but as a declaration of war. And war demands a response, not in words, but in action. There is no honor in forgiving treachery. Mercy to the traitor is not a virtue, it is treason against your future. For every traitor you forgive, you teach 10 more that betrayal has no consequence. You teach the world that your tolerance is weakness, that your boundaries are negotiable, that your throne is unguarded. The man who betrayed you once has already mapped your vulnerabilities. He knows your patterns, your hopes, your blind spots. He will not strike the same way again. He will evolve, become more precise, more patient. If you allow him to remain near, you are not only tolerating danger, you are nurturing it. You are feeding it time, access, and knowledge. And when it rises again, it will strike harder, aiming not to wound, but to destroy. Loyalty is the rarest currency in a corrupt world. It is more valuable than gold, more dangerous than power, and more difficult to detect. Words mean nothing. Smiles lie. Deeds are the only evidence, and betrayal is the only verdict that cannot be appealed. Once proven, it must be punished, swiftly, without hesitation, without exception. This is not cruelty, it is preservation. The man who cannot protect himself from betrayal cannot protect anything, not his kingdom, not his legacy, not even his name. You must learn to see betrayal early. It begins with whispers, not swords. It begins with someone who no longer defends you when you're absent. Someone who praises you with hollow words while envying your position. Someone who takes without giving, who watches your struggles without lifting a hand. These are the seedlings. Left unchecked, they grow into revolt. Do not be deceived by the softness of betrayal. It is not always dramatic. Sometimes it's the slow erosion of your trust by subtle disloyalties. Sometimes it's the silent celebration of your failures. Sometimes it's simply the choice to stand by and do nothing when your enemies move against you. These are betrayals too, silent, deadly, and just as deserving of your wrath. Every time you let betrayal go unpunished, you give it a vote of confidence. You validate it. You say to the world, this is acceptable, and what is acceptable becomes common. What is common becomes culture. And soon, you will drown in a sea of deceivers, wondering how your kingdom fell apart. But the answer will be simple. You allowed it. Weakness that cloaks itself in kindness is not virtue. It is a sickness that spreads through every decision, every alliance, and every structure you hope to build. The man who hides behind good intentions to avoid confrontation, to escape responsibility, or to please everyone is not noble. He is dangerous. He weakens the body of power from within. He will call it compassion, but it is cowardice. He will label it empathy, but it is fear of consequence. And in your court, in your circle, such a man becomes a liability you cannot afford. Power demands clarity. It demands resolve. The world is not moved by good intentions, but by force, strategy, and control. Those who preach only kindness in a cruel world are not healers, they are blind guides, leading others into traps they cannot escape. If a man cannot say no, cannot stand firm, cannot deliver punishment when it is due, then his kindness is a mask worn by incompetence, and incompetence at the top bleeds downward like rot in the roots of a tree. They will beg you to be merciful. They will tell you that forgiveness makes you strong, but understand this: if you forgive weakness, you legitimize it. If you surround yourself with men who cannot draw a line, who cannot make a choice, who cannot wield discipline without trembling, then soon those very men will be the reason your enemies find openings. They will stall when action is needed. They will debate when resolve is demanded. They will feel when they should think, and they will pause when they should strike. The false kindness of the weak is not harmless. It sabotages you in the name of morality. It delays hard decisions until they become disasters. It protects enemies in the hope that they might reform. It sympathizes with those who drain your resources, betray your confidence, or sow conflict behind your back. This is not virtue, it is sabotage painted with a gentle smile. Do not mistake passivity for peace. Do not confuse agreeable nature for loyalty. The man who nods at everything, who avoids conflict at all costs, who refuses to correct even obvious failure, is a man who allows rot to grow. He will avoid discomfort at the expense of your mission. And when the time comes to make the hard call, to cut, to dismiss, to punish, he will plead, he will delay, he will sabotage the moment with talk of fairness, of mercy, of understanding. But you must ask, fairness to whom? Mercy for what? Understanding, of which betrayal? You cannot build power with soft men. You cannot march toward a throne with shoulders that tremble under pressure. The world respects only what it fears or what it depends on. Kindness without strength earns neither. It invites parasites, manipulators, and those who thrive in permissive soil. And once these people take root, they grow fast, unchecked, confident that there will be no consequence, no standard, no reckoning. Disrespect, no matter how subtle, is not just a personal offense. It is a challenge to your authority. It is the first crack in the wall, the whisper of rebellion, the spark before the fire. If left unpunished, it grows bold. What begins as a joke becomes a rumor. What starts as a sideways glance becomes open defiance. The man who tolerates disrespect sends a message to the world that his throne is unguarded, his command is optional, and his name can be spoken without fear. From that moment on, he is no longer feared. He is managed, negotiated with, and eventually replaced. Those who serve you, stand beside you, or seek your favor must understand that respect is not negotiable. It is the first currency of power. You do not need applause. You do not need affection, but you must have respect. It is the invisible wall that separates the ruler from the ruled. It is what holds order in place when nothing else does. The moment someone speaks to you with contempt, even behind closed doors, they have begun a campaign to lower your value. They are testing your limits, watching how far they can go. If you remain silent, if you laugh it off, if you permit it for the sake of harmony, you have already lost more than your pride. You have surrendered a piece of your dominion. Power is not maintained through affection. It is preserved through presence, force, and perception. A single act of tolerated disrespect becomes the story your enemies tell each other in private. It becomes the myth that spreads: he is losing his grip, he won't retaliate, he fears being alone, he needs our approval. Once those myths take root, your authority becomes a lie others politely obey, but no longer believe in. The men and women around you must feel your standard, not just hear about it. If someone disrespects you, they must feel the cost in real terms. Position revoked, status removed, access denied. There must be a consequence etched in memory. A ruler must not be loved by all. but he must be untouchable. His dignity must be like steel, cold, firm, and unyielding. The weak tolerate insolence to appear humble. The wise destroy it to remain sovereign. A man who cannot command respect will eventually beg for it. And no one respects a beggar. Disrespect is often delivered in disguise. It will come as humor, as advice, as sarcasm. It will come in moments when you are distracted or generous, but never forget. The tongue that mocks you once will poison you later. Those who allow themselves to joke about your power will eventually question your right to wield it. And if they question it long enough, they will begin to undermine it, subtly at first, then openly, until your silence becomes their permission and your tolerance becomes your undoing. There is no neutral ground between a man and his authority. Either you command it or someone else will. Either you are the one who sets the standard or you are the one reacting to its erosion. When disrespect is allowed to breathe, loyalty begins to suffocate. Indecisiveness is not a harmless flaw. It is a declaration of incompetence. The one who cannot decide is the one who cannot lead, and the one who cannot lead becomes a weight on every mission, every plan, every ambition. Time is the currency of power, and indecision burns it without return. Every moment wasted in hesitation is a moment given to your enemies. While you weigh options, others are acting. While you deliberate, others are advancing. And when you finally move, you find yourself reacting instead of commanding, following instead of ruling. A man who hesitates does so because he fears blame more than he values victory. He fears failure more than he desires conquest. He believes that by waiting, he can avoid consequence. But what he fails to grasp is that the consequence of delay is often worse than the consequence of a wrong move. Action, even flawed, sends a message of strength. Inaction is a signal of surrender. A ruler who delays appears lost. A commander who wavers breeds confusion in his ranks. A partner who can't choose forces you to carry both his weight and your own. Those who live in constant deliberation are rarely loyal to outcomes. Their minds shift with the winds of opinion. Their beliefs change with the room. Their courage melts under the heat of decision. They will agree with you in private, doubt you in public, and abandon you in crisis. You must never trust them with positions of influence. You must never depend on them when the stakes are highest. They will stall your momentum, water down your vision, and sabotage your authority without even realizing they are doing so. Power belongs to those who move, not recklessly but firmly, not blindly but decisively. The world respects those who make things happen, those who act without needing endless validation, those who stand on their choices even when the outcome is uncertain. The indecisive person seeks guarantees before taking action. But in reality, nothing is guaranteed except that hesitation gives others an advantage. Delay is a form of decay. It rots the sharpness of a plan. It kills the spirit of initiative. It paralyzes those who would otherwise follow you into battle. The indecisive will wrap their weakness in the language of wisdom. They will call it caution, balance, reflection. They will tell you they are just gathering more information, just being thorough, but deep down they are ruled by fear. And fear, when it governs a man's decision making, makes him a danger to everyone around him. In crisis, he will freeze. In conflict, he will flee. In the face of opportunity, he will sabotage it with questions and doubt until it slips away. You must eliminate indecision from your inner circle. Those who cannot choose cannot lead. Those who cannot act cannot build. And those who cannot move forward become dead weight on a path that demands momentum. Better to be surrounded by the bold who risk than by the cautious who stall. For in a world of wolves, it is not the thoughtful sheep who survive, but the ones who bite first. Envy is the most silent. assassin you will ever face. It does not announce itself like hatred, nor does it burn visibly like anger. It wears the face of friendship, speaks in tones of admiration, and moves with the patience of a strategist. The one who envies you will smile when you speak, cheer when you win, and walk beside you when others fall away. But inside, their soul rots with resentment, and they are waiting for the moment your guard drops, for the moment they can strike without being seen. This is the most dangerous type of enemy, the one who hides in plain sight. A man driven by envy is not concerned with building his own kingdom. He obsesses over yours. He watches what you have, what you've earned, what you command, and feels cheated. He believes your success is an insult to his own worth, and yet he will never tell you this. He will continue to linger around you, pretend to support you, offer advice, flatter your ego. But none of it is genuine. It is all a performance designed to stay close, because closeness is what makes betrayal effective. You cannot be stabbed in the back by someone who isn't standing behind you. The envious friend is worse than the open enemy because you trust them. You reveal plans to them. You lower your guard in their presence. You give them influence, and they take all of that, not with gratitude, but with greed. Greed for your downfall, greed for your failure, and they will not always move directly. Some will wait for you to stumble on your own and cheer in silence when you do. Others will poison your reputation behind your back while praising you to your face. They will plant doubt in others about your leadership, your motives, your methods, and do it with such subtlety that it appears as concern. To tolerate envy is to invite sabotage. It is to feed a snake and expect it to remain tame. The envious do not become loyal through kindness. They are not cured by generosity. In fact, the more you give them, the more they hate you for having it to give. Every favor you show them only reminds them of what they lack. Every opportunity you provide deepens their feeling of inferiority. And eventually, that inferiority demands balance. That balance, in their mind, comes through your loss. You must learn to read the signs. Look for those who celebrate your wins too carefully, who mimic your speech, your ideas, your identity, and yet fail to elevate themselves. Watch those who compare everything, who subtly shift the topic to themselves, who never fully rejoice in your success without redirecting the spotlight. These are not supporters. They are competitors hiding in the clothes of camaraderie. The envious man must be removed. Not argued with, not corrected, not enlightened. Removed. For as long as he stands in your circle, he is measuring your fall. And when he finds the crack, he will strike without hesitation, and he will feel justified. To him, your downfall is not a crime. It is justice. Tolerating what must be punished is the beginning of collapse. A man who seeks power, peace, or even self-mastery cannot afford softness toward the 7 cancers of order. Betrayal, once allowed, becomes habit. Weakness disguised as kindness invites ruin. Disrespect left unchecked mutates into defiance. Indecision delays the inevitable fall. Envy, tolerated, grows until it poisons every bond. These are not merely flaws, they are threats. They spread silently, infecting your vision, your rule, your very sense of direction. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to carry dead weight or make space for sabotage. You are here to build, to lead, to protect what is yours. That demands a mind sharpened by discipline and a heart unafraid to cut ties, enforce standards, and strike before you are struck. Mercy to the wrong people is betrayal of your future. If you are to hold power over your life, your mission, your destiny, you must remember this: what you allow will define you, and what you tolerate will one day destroy you.